Hey guys, welcome back. Moving on to our second question, that is how to develop a plugin in Moodle from scratch. Now, in this video, we are going to take an example of a block type plugin. So let's make a use case first. Like I want this block to show activity links and activity names inside a course. So we are going to put it inside a course view page. Okay. So basically it will be a course context and we will see how exactly it looks like in a course view page when it's added as a block. Before going ahead, I believe you guys have a proper working Moodle setup in your machine. If not, you can go and check my Moodle installation video on the same channel. This is my Moodle directory and this is the block directory in Moodle folder. You can see a number of blocks available already given by default or added by me. So we are going to create a block in this particular folder. Here I will just right click and name my block as course links. Okay, so the course links is going to be the name of our block. In this block we are going to create some of the required files, some of the optional files and some additional files so that we can achieve our requirement. First of all, I'm going to create a file called as version.php. Now what exactly this version.php file consists of? Now you must be knowing like this version should be available in any kind of plugin you develop. So basically this tells us like this is a version metadata in the sense like it contains metadata about the plugin. Okay, like it is used during the installation or the upgrade of the plugin. So let me put this as a define and we are going to put it like a version, also like what is still the Moodle requirement to run this plugin, and the component name to be block underscore course link. So this is how we write the component, and I'm just gonna put this much content on this version.php. Next file what we are going to create will be a very important file. Basically we call it as a block definition class. So we are going to create a new file and name it as a block underscore plugin name, which is our course links.php. So what exactly this is also a PHP file. What exactly this is a block definition class of the block. Okay, and this is a very important and it's required file. So we create it under this main block where course link and no subdirectories. Okay, now this file will hold the class definition for the block as I told earlier, and it is used both to manage it as a plugin and to render it on the screen. Okay, so there are some methods which we are going to define into this class. First will be the init function, which is going to hold the title of the block. Now this is very essential for all the blocks available in Moodle or we create in Moodle, and its purpose is to give value to any class member variable. Okay, so this will hold the title. Okay, so we are going to create a string file to hold all these values as well. Second method what we're going to use is called as get content. So what exactly, and this returns string. Now in order to get our blocks to actually display something on the screen, we need to add this method to our class before the final crossing, of course, and this should be inside this block underscore course links.php, which is the main file of the block. Okay, so basically if I say this return the whole HTML content of the block as a body of the block. So if the block is empty or does not have anything to return, it will and it's null, so it will simply it does not show. Okay, block does not show at all. Okay, so all of this content basically is a variable. It holds all the actual content that is displayed inside all the blocks or each block. Okay. Valid values for it are either null or an object of the class, study class, which must have specific member variables depending on the extended block-based class. What exactly I mean to say is this is going to return all the HTML that you're going to use and collect all the data, pass it to Mustache, whatever logic you want to build over here, it returns as a final HTML as a body of the block. So this is a very important method of our definition class of the block. Okay. Let me define some other files and folders as a part of the structure. We are going to create another folder called as db, and inside db we are going to create a file called as access.php. This is to define the plugin capability, and it's a required file. So the path you can see over here, the block db folder, inside that access.php. Okay, so the db access.php file contains the initial configuration for the plugins access control rules. I mean to say, like, where exactly we can access, in which context, and which roles can access this particular plugin or the block. So I have defined some capabilities which I'm going to add it over here for you and explain it what exactly it means. So I have defined a capability over here like block. This is the name of the capability. Okay, and this is context level for course, and it's allow for the roles for editing teacher and manager who can add these blocks. Okay, also I'm cloning the permission from this default capability of Moodle, like who can manage the blocks. Okay, that's it. We are going to just keep it like this and we'll stick to this particular capability over here, nothing else. Another structure what I would like to add over here is lang folder, because we are using getString methods to use language key values. So I'm going to put it as lang, and inside that I'm going to add another folder for English. Okay, and inside that I'm going to define a file call it. This should basically be the name of the, this should be the same name as the name of the plugin, that is block underscore courselinks.php. Let me add two of my string which I want to use. First is the plugin name and course links add instance whenever we add this. Okay, that's it. We later, if we required, we will add more. And I'm going to close this. So now we have db, lang, the definition class, and the version.php. Couple of more things I want to add over here is one should be, I want to add a template folder which will hold my mustache files. I'm going to create a mustache file over here and name it as main.mustache. Okay, and I'm going to put some content over here and later I'm going to use it. So I will show you when exactly this can be anything actually. What exactly, how exactly you want to render the content on the block, it totally depends on you. So I have just added this division with some ID and I'm putting a dynamic value of the course. Okay, later I'll explain you what exactly this means. Okay, also I'm going to require some JS files. Okay, so I'm going to add it like this, block main. Now this particular main, in the sense like as a part of the structure, we need to add one more thing as a AMD. And as you must be knowing, AMD structure, it contains two subfolders as src and another will be called as build. Okay, so src will be the actual, we are going to name it as a main.js. It's actual JS file where we are going to write our logic, and build is basically containing the minified version of the same JS file. So if we run grunt on this plugin, it will convert main.js to main.js. Okay, it's a minified version. So we are going to write use main.js to write our JS scripts over here. Now, what exactly this will be called over here? As I said, like we are requiring this main.js file as in this format, and the init method will be return in main.js over here. So we are going to give it a structure like this, which will be returning the init function. Before I write any logic over here, I am going to create a couple of more files over here. Going to create another folder called as classes. Inside classes, I am going to create one more folder called as output, and I'm going to create a external.php file over here, which will be holding the API's definitions, which we are going to use. So basically, this external.php will be utilized by a service, which we are going to create in DB folder over here. So I'm going to create it as services.php. Okay, and before creating this external.php, I'm going to write the service over here. So I've just written it for you, and this is a PHP file. So I'm defining my function called as block underscore coastling get coast modules. So this is the name of the API, and the class path I'm mentioning as block coastling classes external.php, which is pointing to this particular file. In the class name, we have to give it as like this. This can be anything, like depending on you. So we are going to write into external.php here. So there is a particular way of calling the APIs or writing the APIs in Moodle. So you have to follow that particular structure. So this is a PHP. I'm going to require or include some of the core libraries which I am going to use for my purpose. That totally depends on you, what exactly the logic you're writing and what data you want to fetch. Okay, so I'm going to give it a name to the class as class block coastling external, which is the same as what we have written in services.php. Like this is the class name. Okay, and close it. And the function what we are going to name it as will be, or the method, get coast modules. I have written it for you, a function called as like this, and we are going to capture a parameter called as coast ID. Okay, and what exactly this will be used, you'll see in the next method, which use, so you can see like public static function get coast modules parameters. So this parameter has to be added, and this is the actual function name over here. So the next function name should be like this. We are going to write all our logics, all our return values over here in this particular. So basically, if I talk about the functionality in a block, we are going to create the links and the name of the activities. So I'm just going to write that logic for that. I have completed this method called as get coast modules, which is going to return these many values like the module ID, name of the module, URL, and date and views basically. So, and we are going to utilize this particular values in the mustache and then render finally the HTML we want to showcase into the body of the block. Okay. Another method we have to add it over here, like the return statement, the return method. So I'm just going to write it like this. Public static function, this is the name of the method, and we put it at underscore returns. So this is how the structure has to be built in any API call you're doing inside Moodle pages or any other plugins. Okay, and the call has to be made like this. So finally we will be calling this particular gate course modules in our main.js file. So we come back over here in the init function. What we're going to write a logic to call this external API via Ajax. Okay, so I have written this promise. Whenever this Ajax call is success, we are going to get this result over here, and then we are going to append this thing into this particular region over here. Okay, few more to append. So basically we are creating a list over here, and as a part of the HTML, and as a whole it will be returned. So I'm just going to copy this main.js content into this main.js. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Basically it's the same. So, but when you push it to production, make sure to run the grunt and make it as a modified version. So we also made this output folder over here, as you can see in the classes. What exactly this will be used? So we are going to find some of the base classes and the renderer class over here. So I'm just going to create two files, call it main.php. Another could be renamed as renderer.php. So this is my render class, this is my main class. Okay, so you must be knowing that all blocks must provide a main class that extend the core base class, as we have seen over here. And also additionally, if you require, you can have these classes as well. So this main.php, we are going to create a class over here called as main. This is the PHP. I think I've already defined that. Okay, so this is my class name, and it implements the renderable and the templatable. Okay, so what exactly this class is going to do? This class is containing data for course links blocks. So whatever data we are going to need, or we are going to pass it to the template, which is a mustache file. In here we are going to write it over here. Okay, this is the class. Now I want to use a namespace for this. I'll give it a name as this. I'll put Moodle internal, and I'm going to use some of the other classes available, like renderable, render base, templatable. Okay, and some of the course libraries I'm going to include in this file because I want to fetch data from those libraries as well. Okay, now we are going to write an export for template method, which is going to export data so it can be used in a mustache template. Okay, so the name should be public function export for template render base output. Okay, this is the output argument it's taking, and in here we are going to define two variables if required. Not totally depends on you, like user and page. User, I think we are not going to need over here. Just going to delete that. Page will be required because we are trying to capture the course ID from the page itself. Okay, so that's how it will return this display course, and it will pass the course ID into this display course key, and then this particular value will be passed to main.mustache, and we are going to showcase over here at display course. Okay, the rest of the things will be done by our main.js file to append the HTML depending on the logic that we have written to fetch all the course links, course activity links, basically course modules, what we call it. One more file that I wanted to show is render.php. So this is a renderer.php. What exactly this is? It is a core subsystem renderer, and the naming should be like render.php, and it should exist under classes output folder over here. Okay, so they all extend plugin render based method. So I'm going to show you how exactly it can be. I'm giving a name as class renderer extends plugin render base. Okay, before that, I think I should put this Moodle internal die. Okay, and also I'm going to the namespace over here like this, and that's it, I think. Okay, one more, the base class we have to use it over here like this so that we can extend it. Okay, so I'm going to create a function over here called as render main, and basically it will return the main content for the block. Okay, and we are going to write render from template. Okay, and we're going to call the main.mustache file like this. Okay, so this will return. Now, since we have defined this render and this main class over here, okay, we are going to utilize these two classes. We're going to create an object, and then we're going to call it over here in this particular the main definition class of the block, as you can see in the get content method. Okay, so I'm gonna create an object of the main class. Like till here I have explained, like, okay, if the content is null, this will return as it is. So in that case, what happens, the block does not show anything. Block itself does not show, I mean to say. And then we are going to create another variable, and we're going to get renderer of this particular plugin over here. Now we are going to write this attribute called as content, which is actually the content of the block. Okay, and basically it will be this content text. Okay, the text should contain all the content of the block. And then we're going to put render over here, and then we are going to return this particular content. So that's it. So all the logic of what exactly output will come and how it will render, or everything we have written over here, like export template, we are capturing the course ID, and in the renderer we are exporting this to main.mustache, and then we are creating objects and calling over here like this. So this entirely depends on you, what exactly you want to achieve from your block, what exactly is the requirement. Now along with this, I am going to put two more methods over here. One will be called as applicable format and hash config. What exactly this means is, now applicable format, if you see, it will return an array. So what does it mean is, any blocks which can be like added to any kind of page over here. Some blocks can only be displayed on certain pages types. In this case, we are displaying it to the course page. So this method is used to define the page types that the block can be displayed on. That's it, nothing else to know about this one. And hash config, it returns boolean. So this is an optional method which tells Moodle that, okay, the block has a global configuration settings. So that's it. I think we are fine with the structure of the block over here. Now we are going to install and see how the output looks like in the front. Okay, so we're going to see now, install it. We go to site administration, and it will detect a new block, and it will try to upgrade and install the block. Okay, so we go continue. Okay, so now we have this description over here, what exactly we are going to install. This is the name of the block, the version requires. We click on upgrade Moodle database now. Okay, so now what we are going to do, we are going to go inside a course and see how the block looks like. So I have this course. So I have this course, demo course. So I have added few of the sections and some of the activities already over here. Now what exactly we are going to do is click on this editing mode on, and on this side pre you can see a link over there, add a block, and we're going to go to the Moodle block, and from here we see this something called as course link blocks. So we're going to click on this one, and that's it. As you can see course link block, the title of the block and the logic whatever we have written will give you all the activities present inside the course, along with the serial number and the link and the name of the activity, when exactly they were created, and how many views they have till now. So it shows three things: name of the activity, link, date, and view of the, and how many views we have. So that was the requirement what we discussed earlier before beginning of this development. So yeah, that's it. So this is how we develop a block type plugin. You can go for any other kind of local plugins, report plugins. You can try it out in a similar fashion as well. Okay.